plus Puja Dubey and my co-host Neha Mandal. So let me start with a quick example. You just imagine that you are opening an app to book a flight only to get stuck on a confusing payment screen. Frustrating, right? So that's where a good UI UX design backed by solid user research comes into play. So in today's session, we will explore how strong user research can significantly enhance the user experience. So as we all know, the user interface can make or break the customer interactions. So from choosing the right colors to ensuring initiative button placement, an interface designed with the user in mind leads to impressive results. So now, without any further delay, I'm thrilled to introduce our esteemed panelist, Puja Dubey. Puja is a learning experience designer with over 17 years of experience in working with B2B organizations worldwide. Her impressive portfolio includes collaborations with renowned brands like HCL, Samsung, and Epexon. Puja has worked on more than 250 L&D projects across 100 plus organizations and is not only a trainer and facilitator but also an accomplished author and e-learning creator. As the co-founder and chief growth officer of Talman Consulting Services, she specializes in learning and development services. Pooja's multidisciplinary expertise spans various roles in corporate, including design, analytics, strategy, business development, research, and writing. Her passion for writing, reading, learning, and facilitating has led her to author three books and guide thousands of students on their developmental journeys. So let's give a warm welcome to Pooja Dubey. So Pooja, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm very excited to hear your insights on how user research can elevate UI UX design. So the floor is yours. Over to you, Pooja.
Thank you, Lynn, for the wonderful introduction. I'm really happy and excited to be here and see all of you aspiring, learners. And I'm very excited to start with you. So I would like to, before starting with the session, I would like to understand a bit about you. So since you're already here, that means you're curious about UI UX design. I would like to understand to what extent do you understand what is UI UX? Have you just heard, or have you, already have some knowledge of it, or maybe you attended a particular course or attended a webinar related to it? So if you have just heard of it, you can say you can type one, or if you know a little bit about it, you can type two. And if you are pretty much familiar with it and want to go deep dive into it, then you can type three. So open your chat boxes and you can start typing so we can understand where you are currently.
We are getting so many responses, Poojas. So they are answering one, two, somebody, one. We are getting so many responses. One, two. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a mix. So some of you may already know what is UI UX. For those who might not know and might have already heard, this is a simple introduction I would like to give. UI UX is basically user interface and user experience design. As the word itself says, it is designing an experience that makes a customer or a user happy. So suppose, like Lane gave an example of a mobile app that could be frustrating. A frustration is also an experience, right? The experience that you would not love to, have in your life. What kind of experience really inspires you? Have you ever used a mobile app that engrosses you like badly? It's like when you start using it, you just cannot leave that. And it's like hours went by and you do not realize you are still on that app. So have you ever used any of that kind of app? Which app really hooks you? So you can type in the chat box TikTok, Figma, Instagram. Yeah,
TikTok,
TikTok,
Instagram. Yeah. Yeah. We are
Sketch,
getting so many.
FB.
Sketch, FB. Yeah.
Yeah, so UX is all about creating that experience that will hook the user and keep you there. So let us start with one more question I would like to ask. Uh, what do you think user experience, user research, that is the topic of today's session. What is user research and why are we discussing user research in a UI UX webinar? As you know, like it says, an important key pillar of UI UX. What is user research? Any idea about what it is? You can type in the chat box.
So somebody told that it is required for user experience, to understand the users and to understand the client demand, designs. So we are getting so many responses, very interesting answers. So to get information of our target users, to understand mental model of human interaction, yeah, it's going good.
Yes, absolutely. Pretty close, pretty correct. User research is all about understanding users. So it's about understanding how they behave with a particular product or an application which you are targeting your users to use. It is also about understanding what are their challenges that they face in their work life or real life. What do they need when you're using, let's say, a TikTok app? What do you exactly, how do you behave? Do you tend to keep swiping because you have a habit of swiping? Or would you like to, every time click and play? Like if we are on YouTube. So we have to click the play button and then it plays. But when we are on TikTok, we just swipe and automatically starts playing. So our behavior, even though we are watching videos only, is different on different apps. So we need to understand what are those user behaviors. We need to understand what are the needs of the user. Now, if you talk about TikTok, Instagram, the videos are pretty short. So it is like we need short videos because we don't have time. We don't have a very good attention span. Most of us are like, we get bored within a few minutes. So we don't like to watch 15 minutes or 20 minutes of video unless we are, of course, learning, then we keep some patience. Otherwise, attention span is a big issue nowadays, which is again a user need that we need to satisfy. What motivates you is another very important pillar. So when we are actually doing user research, we're trying to understand how people behave, what do they need, and why exactly do they need your app or your product. So if you're using TikTok, why do you use it? What is your motivation behind watching videos on TikTok or Instagram? Why do you need it? You can type in the chat box what really motivates you when you're picking up an app.
See, we are
Entertainment, time
getting
pass,
enter,
fun.
yeah, time pass
Uh,
to get famous. Oh, that's good.
okay. The famous are the creators. Yeah, I do like to create, even watch, sometimes do time pass.
For
Yeah.
marketing.
Yes. Perfect. So somebody mentioned it easy to use, which is again a very important thing that we need to take care of, which is why we conduct user research. Because we don't know we know what the product is, we know what are the features we can offer. But unless we understand user, we cannot make it easy for the user. Okay. Now, why do we exactly need it? Like you mentioned about, enjoyment, entertainment. When you're using TikTok, that means you need entertainment. But when you're using another app, let's say LinkedIn, then entertainment is not your objective. So if you try to, showcase entertainment on an app like LinkedIn, it might not sell. So what is relevant for you changes with the application or the product that you're using. TikTok is for entertainment, that is set in your mind. But LinkedIn is for professional networking. So if LinkedIn app that you'll be using, you'll first look for professional network. That's what we call in user experience terms as relevance to the users. Let's take another example. Suppose I want to be fit in my life. So I need to follow a certain routine to stay fit. Now, what could be my challenge when I need a fitness routine? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a fitness expert. I don't know what's perfect routine for me. I don't know what suits me best. So I will have this goal in my life, which is a bigger thing, that I want my health issues to be gone. Like, I don't want to be obese. I don't want to be tired all the time. So there are some health issues that I might be facing. And the reason why I am looking for something is because I want to get rid of those issues. And for that, I want to find a particular routine. So that is my need, my challenge, my goal, which is what we understand when we conduct user research. Now, when you know that all this is what I want, what would you propose? What kind of solution would you give? A fitness app, right? So how will this fitness app really help me achieve my goal? All I need is a fitness routine, so the app will provide me a routine which is suitable for me. Now, here I would like to understand from you. Uh, Suppose we provide a workout plans or routine, fitness routine. Is it going to be relevant to me if that kind of app is there? If I'm looking for solving my research, my health issues, and I want to be fit. So, do you think it will be a relevant app? Yes. So I can see a few yeses.
They are saying
Now,
yes. Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
maybe.
Somebody about user persona. Yes, you can create a workout routine for a particular persona. Okay. The question is, do you think this is going to be relevant? This app, a fitness app, will be relevant for a person like me who wants to become healthy and wants to get rid of health issues. Okay. Yes, if we use it consistently. So this is what we call relevance. Do you think any other way also can user research help? Like understanding people's needs, challenging goals, it helps you make the product relevant. So this is one of the reasons why we are doing conducting user research. Do you think it can help in other ways as well? Any other reason why we could be using user research? You can type in the chat box if you feel that it can do some, give us more benefits as designers.
Yes, they are
Okay,
agreeing to that. They are saying yes, it is very helpful
attract users.
to know the
Okay, very helpful.
respond. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and
Takes away
a
the
few.
assumptions of a designer and helping the community to meet business calls as well as to satisfy users for feedback.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's very interesting to discover market trends. And somebody saying to know what user can expect. See, to get more clarify on the problem we are solving, to
Yes.
create user-centered designs, improves usability. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting and very true. So many things that the user research can help you with. And some time back, someone also mentioned about ease of use. So I would like to talk a little about that because that is also one of the needs that can be fulfilled. But let's talk about pleasure. We started with a discussion of TikTok and Instagram that hooks you. That hooks you because you feel pleasure when you're using. It is enjoyable. You enjoy music, you enjoy videos, but now think about it. You are enjoying. But even before enjoying, the first time you might have started using that app, you might have either a need to meet, a goal to meet, or a challenge to solve. For example, for a music app, let's say we talk about Amazon Music. Now, I want to play a song that meets my mood. Okay, so Amazon offers a playlist. So you can select your favorite songs, or you can also have those custom playlists depending on what kind of mood. For example, if I want just a music which is, I want to sleep right now. So there is a playlist of sleeping music. Then there is a playlist for meditation music. So these kind of playlists really helps, and I can select, okay, I need jazz or I need some peppy music because I want to dance. So depending on my mood, music streaming apps create libraries. Just like that, what do you think could be the reason, could be the challenge or the need? When you're talking about TikTok, I understand it's all about entertainment, it keeps you hooked, but is it also solving a particular challenge or meeting your need? Is there any challenge that is associated with that you can think of, which is why you feel it is quite no? Okay, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there are mixed responses. How about boredom? Is boredom interesting? Is it a challenge? Something you want to get rid of, right? So the reason why is, yeah, loneliness, boredom. I mean, that's your problem. So your pleasure is the solution to these problems, and that is how why you get so hooked to these apps. Okay, let's get to the next one, which is ease of use. Now, suppose I need to manage my money, but I do not understand money very well. I am a designer, I am a writer, I'm not very good with money aspects. But I don't want to give money to some other person to manage my money. So it's like, I don't know how money works, and then I'm trusting a person who I don't know if I can trust. Maybe I want to manage my own money, but I'm not very technically sound in that. So then what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use certain solution where it's easy for me to manage money. Now I use ICICI mobile banking app. It makes money management pretty easy. Its user interface is so friendly that I can at one go I can understand how to use. I'll give you an example of their I wish savings option. So I always used to think that whenever I'm spending some amount, there is always a change, 20 rupees, 30 rupees involved. Can I save that change? Or if I want to buy something which is very small, I just want to keep saving money, a very small amount. And then I found out that this facility was available on some of the financial apps. But then, why was it not available on a mobile banking? Because that is where all the money comes from. Then I saw that ICICI started with this feature. So what we do is it's a very small saving amount that we keep. And the moment I opened the iWish app, I could instantly see that it is there to save. It's a small amount. It gave me a goal, a target of how much money do you want to save? It asked first question. I entered the amount. Then it said how much money you want to save in every month. So then I selected that amount, and poof, the product was already there and it started working. And I use it consistently every month to save, small pennies. And then it also gave me an option whether you want to save the change. So the way they use the language, save the change, is the very layman language that we speak in. In the same way, the app also spoke to me. So I was able to pretty much get it that what this new solution is going to help me with. That is where ease of use comes into picture. Okay, do you have any other examples where you feel this app you found was easiest to use? Which app do you think is easiest to use as per you? WhatsApp, yeah, right.
Puja, OLS, WhatsApp, Google, Mindra, yeah, YouTube,
Okay, cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
WhatsApp, Swiggy, yeah,
Swiggy.
to order food and yes, Instagram, YouTube, so many social networks they are saying, yeah, YouTube,
Yeah,
Telegram, yeah, good. Thread,
perfect. Yes,
most
so
of
there
them told WhatsApp, Facebook, and all, Puja.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, are you still able to? Okay, yeah. Right. So, like you mentioned about WhatsApp, Instagram, all these apps are very easy to use. These are, if you notice, these are the apps that are very popular, and hardly will we find a person who doesn't know about these apps. And that's exactly what ease of use does. It makes more and more users use your app, and that is why we conduct user research to find out what can make it easy to use. Let's take one example. Okay, now I'll take this as an example of relevance. You remember old TVs, how they used to look? So Samsung was one of the big players that came up with lot of nice features in the TV first, and many people bought it. But then when they conducted a research and they went door to door to understand how the their buyers, their customers were using the TV, they saw that the TV was always hidden. And they had to ask, okay, where is the TV? I can't see where is the TV in your house. So why was it covered? Then they asked. So users said, they said that, do you have any problem? Do you not like the TV? Do you not use it? So they said, no, it's not like we don't use it. We use it whenever we want to watch, but I don't want it to, always be visible because it doesn't look good. So most of the users felt that Samsung TV looked very bad. It looked bad in my house. That was one major finding. Now, for Samsung, having good features was the main thing, and that's how they marketed the product. But then they realized that look was also a relevant point for users, and that's when they decided that these buyers are not excited to show off their product because they need more. And then they came up with the slim design. So now if you see our TVs that we have today are flat panel displays. So it just didn't come out of the blue. It came after our user research was conducted because people wanted it to look good. So they came up with a minimalistic thin design. And same thing happened with all the other similar devices. Even laptop, earlier desktops, they were so bulky, huge, ugly. But now we have slim, trim, and the slimmest thing. Even phone used to be so huge. Like communicator. Have you ever seen a communicator that was used long back? You might not have even seen it in real life, but you might have heard about it. That used to be like a big phone that you could open. It was like a mobile phone, but you could open it. So that was bulky. And then now we are using the slim phone. So now companies are using slim idea to market their phones. Okay, I would like to ask you if you have if you can think of an example like this where you think user research could help improve a product. So earlier I asked you which is the best product you like or which is the easy to use product. Now think of a product that you hate and you feel this literally needs user research, and if they conducted a user research, this is what I'm going to tell them to improve. So, which is the worst as per you? You can type it in the chat box. Okay, IRCTC. I totally agree with you. It hangs, it's so difficult to understand. The fonts are, I mean, they're just so difficult to read.
One said old bank apps.
Yes, old bank apps, especially the, Indian local banks that are not totally digitized, they are difficult. I would take Bank
Yeah.
of Baroda, I feel, is I mean, doing a fund transfer is a big thing for that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I
Complicated
think
bank
a lot
apps.
of
Again,
companies,
all are saying about banking app, Puja. Yeah.
yeah, so like mainly the government banks and government, even
Yeah.
college,
Very.
college admission procedures, those apps they keep crashing. G G Cash app. Okay, yeah, shuts
Government
down.
websites. Someone says first cry. No, that is to book, to order some dress, no kids dress and our first cry.
Yeah, I also
Online
tried to.
jobs, yeah, online job apps, government apps, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you see Monster and Naukri is still better. Monster is very little difficult. LinkedIn is pretty easier as compared to these. Like
Yeah,
that's why LinkedIn is becoming more popular for job ads. It has like easy
yes,
apply kind of options, which is not there in other places. You don't even have to submit your resume if you have to apply through LinkedIn.
yes,
Just
yes,
click
yes.
easy apply. Within a second, you are applied.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay. Now, there is one more case study I would like to discuss with you. Lego toys. Have you played a Lego toy? I'm sure most of you have. Yeah. Okay. No. Okay. There are some no's also. Okay. Do you think Lego is a toy which is specific to a gender? Like who plays it more, boys or girls? No. Yeah. It's not gender specific, but both play. Okay. Okay. Both play. Now, there was a time when people used to think Lego is for boys because of the way it was shaped, the colors it had, and the structures it made. All it made was buildings or, some kind of gadgets or, some kind of vehicles. That was a very boyish thing. So, girls were not playing with Lego toys. Among the users, only 9% were girls because the Lego toys were for boys. So they conducted the research and they found out that girls were not really enjoying it. And then they wonder what could be done. So what do you think they could have done to solve this problem of, getting more little girls to play with the toy? Yeah, Vilas, okay. Yeah, I also made a lot of, even today it's one of the most popular toy. Change the shape of Lego toy, someone said. Yes, perfect. Make it more girly. And that's exactly what the company did. The user research found out that girls were not playing with it because they wanted to play with it differently. So they introduced the vibrant toys and that came up with girly accessories. And the result was that the market share of girls increased from 9% to 28%. Okay. So now that we know that user research is really a very important tool in the area of UI UX design because it can really help you improve your product. It can get you more customers. It can also enhance experience, which is the primary thing. Now, when do you think we need to conduct user research? Is it, one time thing when okay, you understand the users? I would just close this one. Okay. Do you think it's a one time thing or it's a continuous process or it is an interim thing that has to be conducted every now and then? Before, while, after. Okay. Yeah, correct. I think you already read it. Yes, it is iterative, continuous. Yes, many times you never know when it's needed. Primarily, it is going to be conducted in three times. Before you're actually coming up with a product idea, to understand users, what kind of products would they need. Next, you will conduct a user research before designing that product that you have finalized. So now I know what these customers want. Let's say they want a better banking app. Now, while designing, I need to understand what is better for them in terms of a banking app. Like you said, most of the banking apps suck. So what is better? So we will conduct a research to find out what will make a better design, and accordingly we'll do the design. And then once your product is made, after you release it, you'll have to also check if actually users are liking it, if our product is really doing what it is supposed to do. So you conduct another research because user research does take efforts, it does take resources, and of course it does take some money also if you are reaching out to people. That's why doing it continuously all the time is not practical, but There are certain tools nowadays that are available that even allow you that. So you are subscribed to those tools and it continuously keep collecting data from the customers. But this is only possible with an online digital tool, which is a real time thing. But like is something which is not real time or you're using only for a while and all that, this may not be a very practical thing. But of course, if that is possible, it can do wonders. Now that we understand why we need users and user research and when should we do it, let's dive a little deep. So, are you ready to dive a little deep and understand how exactly are we going to conduct user research? Do you think it's gonna be a very long, lengthy, tedious process? Good, great. So you're super ready. I will introduce you to, combine steps, four simple steps. Now, in different books or in different courses, you might find, a lengthier process. But again, these four steps actually cover all that. So if you remember these four steps, then you know what all to do. Okay. So first, to do anything, you need a plan. So you need to make a project plan. If you need to conduct a research, what are the questions that you need the answers to? Are you going to ask users that how to make the banking app more easy to use? What is your research question? So you have to list down the research questions. Then you have to identify your objectives. So what is your objective? Is your objective to improve the experience for them, or is it your objective to, just understand what is missing and add that missing element? So you have to identify the objectives. And of course, if you're conducting research, you need to have a few methods, identify the lot of methods actually that you can use. So you identify which is the best method, considering what kind of users you have, the timeline you have, or the resources you have, limitations. Based on that, you identify methods and you decide, okay, this is how long I'm going to take to conduct my research. So once plan is ready, then what you do? Then you need people to conduct research. What kind of people would you select? So now you can have users. Of course, if you're doing user research, you will have users only primarily. So you can have users who are currently using your product if you want to enhance. Depending on what is your objective, your user participants your can change. So if you already have an app that you want to improve, then you will use your current users, past users who might have left your app for some reason. But if you're planning to launch a new product, then you don't have existing users. You might have existing users of another app which is similar to what you're offering. But in your case, you might also want to talk to potential users. So you will have current, past, potential users, and you might also include some key stakeholders. Uh, Now, as per you, what do you think? Other than these users, what are these key stakeholders that can really help you conduct a user research? Why do we need them? And who are these people? You can type it in the chat box. Who could be these people? Okay, any ideas? Investors? Yes, investors could be there. So they could tell you what are the constraints in terms of money, beta users,
So, owner of the products, sailors, financiers. Yeah.
absolutely. They can also be like if you're creating a banking app, even bankers will be your stakeholders because if you want to introduce a feature but the banking system doesn't allow to open it up, like downloading, for example, screen captures, that is not allowed, right? So that is a constraint that is set by the banking companies. And there are some data transfer issues also that are not allowed. So you need to understand these constraints as well. That is why we need to sometimes also include stakeholders. Okay, so once we have the plan ready, now we have participants. Now we can start conducting the research. We can use the methods that we identified in the plan, and we can gather their data. So some of the methods that are mentioned here: requirement gathering. This is a simple method. You directly understand what you users need. You ask them that this is what you want in your app. Task analysis is more like you're going to see how the user is going to perform a particular task. So you analyze that, and then you find out ways to simplify that task or add value to that and all that. Usability studies is like, it's like a lab experiment where you make your users do some certain tasks, and you observe them, you talk to them and see what's missing, what's happening, what do they like, what do they not like. So that's how you conduct a study. After you have the study, of course, you have the data in your hand now. What are you going to do with this data? Analyze it, because you have to draw some insights from it, and based on these insights you might be taking certain decisions about your product. So typical metrics could be quantitative, like task times, error rates. So suppose the task times is like, if a particular task is taking too long on an application, it's not worth it. If every time user is trying to, like somebody mentioned when we asked about the worst apps, that it keeps hanging, it throws errors. So like I remember one experience when I was trying to fill uh, a form for a college for my PhD, and every time I used to submit, it would throw an error. Then I make the correction, then I submit again. I literally tried to submit it 15 times. And I was like, forget it. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to apply to this college at all. I mean, that was like heights. So that is what error rates can do. So if you find out what are your error rates and they are very high, you need to do something about it. If you're doing qualitative research, which is a subjective thing, not the numeric data, suppose you're talking, like, I use this app in this way, I like this, I don't like this. Then in that case, we can do something like content analysis. So we understand what are the words people are using and what do they mean by those words. Affinity mapping is another technique. In this, we kind of create categories. So like we ask all the users what do they want, and then we make the chits out of them. Then we put those chits into certain category where we say, okay, user needs this. So like for a finance app, like somebody would be saying, I need to be able to download my statement. Somebody would say, I need, the app to be able to send me an email of the statement. Somebody would say that I need to be able to customize the time or the year or the month for which I need the statement. Now, these are three different things, but they all belong to one category. So, in affinity mapping, we will identify all these statements and then put them into respective categories. That is how we do the analysis. So, actually, user research and analysis is pretty interesting. It's fun. The job itself is quite interesting. Okay, so I will tell you one more story now, but this time I need your participation. Imagine an e-commerce company. Have you used Amazon? How many of you have used Amazon? Do you say yes? Okay, yes, most of you. Do you like it? Okay, so there are some no's also. Do you like it? Amazon? It's okay. Yes, okay. A bit. No, okay, someone also. Yeah, okay.
We're getting mixed answers, no? Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah, I also used to like, Amazon, uh, but a couple of months back when I shifted to a new area, I realized that I was not getting my orders delivered. And then what will happen? I will get a message that the buyer was not available at the location. That is why we could not deliver, and the delivery was not even attempted. And this happens with out of 10 orders, this will happen with 4 orders. Then I started using another app, Flipkart. So sometimes these companies also have some glitches in the system. Now, what these glitches can really create a havoc. So now let's imagine a new e-commerce company, and they realize that a lot of people are actually looking at the products after they put the products in the cart. They are not going to the booking page. They are not making the payment. They are just leaving the cart just like. Why do you think they could be doing it? Why, if you have done a lot of window shopping or you have selected the products, they are all in the cart, that means you have the intention to buy. Then why would you not make an actual purchase? Why would you leave it? So this is what in UI UX term we can say it's abandoning the cart problem. So why do you think people will abandon a cart? Less price, okay. Price, amount, no favorite page. That means no wish listing. Okay. Confusing checkout process, very right.
Quality. Somebody told quality.
Yes.
Price. Delivery charges
Yes.
and shipping cost. Yeah. Expensive price.
Yeah, that's a not lot of e-commerce apps now they have this feature. Every time they have a delivery charge, so they'll say, okay, if you buy 500 more, then your delivery will be free. So they prompt you so that you keep adding to your cart and then you don't have to pay the delivery charge. Delivery charge would be so small that it would hardly matter, but for a user, it still matters that I get some amount for free. So that's why they get excited and they end up buying more just to get a delivery fee. Okay. Yeah, checkout is again sometimes when checkout process is tedious, long, difficult, confusing. You don't do that. When Amazon initially started the business, this problem was there. So what Amazon did, they conducted a user research and they found out that one of the reasons why people were abandoning the cart was because they were not sure. What if, they purchased, they gave the money, and then they realized, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. I want to cancel. But then money will not be there. So they will not be able to cancel it. So then during the checkout process, they added a message. And the message said, don't worry, you can always cancel. Something like that they added. And that was an assurance for the buyer that the money will not be lost. And then they also gave an option of return. And that is also an assurance that if you don't like the product, don't worry, it will be returned. So all these things really help. That's why even after so many hassles that we have on Amazon, people are still buying because they can always return and get their money back very quick. Okay, so now you talked about a lot of challenges, and yeah, there could be many reasons. There could be a technical challenge that someone said, complicated checkout process, pricing. A lot of you agreed with the pricing. There could also be a psychological factor, like if I like the girly factor, the Lego factor. It's the psychological thing. Then cancellation policies. So like Amazon allows you to cancel anytime. It also allows you return. But what if there are some websites they simply say, okay, once bought there is no cancellation, no returns. Now you would think twice before making a purchase. So policies. There could also be specific obstacles like even in pricing, suppose they don't take anything but credit cards. Some US websites, they only take credit cards or they only take PayPal. Now, if you don't have an account on PayPal, if you don't have a credit card, how are you going to make a purchase? Right? So this is also an obstacle. Additional fee like delivery charges, or the design and layout itself is so complicated to understand. Like we spoke about the IRCTC, but then we don't have an option. IRCTC is the main option. Other than that, if we go to any other app, we'll have to pay extra, so we end up buying from there. But then, if we had an option, we would not. Comparison of different listings. Like in some places, you might not get that feature, but if you go to Amazon or Flipkart, they allow you to compare different products from different brands that you're buying. User interface inefficiencies, like too much loading time, or if it's like somebody mentioned about it is hanging continuously, or you're not able to, especially the captcha thing. I really hate that we're not able to read what is written in that captcha. And every time you're typing it, it throws error. It's incorrect. It's incorrect. That is also pretty irritating. So, in short, we know there could be many reasons, but we are not sure what is the exact reason unless we conduct the users. Okay, so now what are we going to do? To conduct the user research, we need to understand users, and users do not have so much time to to just explain what they are suffering with. What you need to do is ask them questions. So one way to do is ask them very structured questions, like identify those common issues. Like if suppose I ask you open question, you might think about it a lot. But if I give you option, okay, yes or no, do you know UI UX? Like I asked, type yes or no if you don't know. It is much easier for you to answer, and you don't have to think much. So that's what surveys with structured interview set of questions can help you with. So ask the users directly, why did you abandon the car? And list down all those reasons and let them select. So all the reasons we identified earlier, we can just put it in a form and ask them, why did they do abandon the car? So this is one of the methods we use for actually conducting a user research. There are a lot of methods you can find, but some very popular methods that are not also very complicated to conduct are what we are discussing right now. Usability testing. Now, in usability testing, what you do is you give users some tasks, like a lab experiment. You make them do some tasks, and then you observe. You see how they perform. Are they satisfied? You also ask them. You interact with them. For example, let's say you have you ever heard of beta users? Somebody mentioned that about beta users. So who are these beta users? So we are actually using them. These are initial users, picked few users who will be given access to the app for testing. After that, improvement is bound to happen from the data that is collected out of this testing. So it's a very popular method in user research. In-depth interviews. Now this could be a little time consuming, but it is very useful because it helps you understand users to the depth. You can observe their behavior, you can ask them about how do they take decisions, you can ask people exact reasons why they act in a certain way. Okay, now as I keep on, mentioning these methods, just take a note of them, and at the end of it, you can tell me which of these methods you have heard of, and you feel that this method is something that is pretty useful. You think this is the most useful method. As per you, you identify which method do you relate. A/B testing. Have you ever heard of A/B testing? It's again a very popular method in UI UX design research. So A/B testing. How many of you know about A/B testing? Anyone? Okay. Mm,
Somebody asked, is that alpha beta testing?
yes. Two different versions. Yeah. In simple terms, two different versions is the way to go. So it's like you have an option, alpha option, beta option. Now, which option do you like better? So like if suppose you're making a purchase of a mobile, and the mobile shopkeeper shows you two mobiles. Okay, this is one mobile, this is other. This is slim, but it is little huge. This is not slim, but it is very handy. Now, which one would you like? So it's easy for you to choose. Now, there is a chance that you will choose one of these products. So in the same way, in A/B testing, we provide two designs of a particular app or a product, and then we tell users to select one of those. A/B testing is typically done like in marketing also. So you send out two kinds of creatives, and then you see which creative is clicked most. Say, suppose you are sending out to 100 people version 1 and 100 people version 2. Now, version 1 is clicked by 20 people, version 2 is clicked by 50 people. So that means you know the version 2 is working better. That's how A/B testing works. Now, contextual inquiries. It is again similar to, understanding how people are using a product, but this is what we do in a natural setting. Instead of creating a lab experiment, and making them do work, we just watch them how they do the work naturally. So if suppose you are sitting and using Instagram app, I'll just watch you using Instagram and then I'll ask you a few questions about how you're using, why you're using that way. That is contextual inquiry. Observations, again, like contextual inquiries, observation also includes natural setting and you observe, but instead of interacting with the user, you just stay away and just observe silently. How are they using? This is called non-intrusive monitoring. That means you are not engaging with the user. You're just noting whatever they are doing. There are many other methods as well. So I will keep on throwing those methods, and you tell me if you have heard of it, and if not, then I'll explain. Card sorting. You ever heard of card sorting?
No, they are
Okay.
not aware about that, Puja. Most of them told no.
Okay. Most of you don't know. Okay. So what happens in card sorting? Have you ever played cards? Those 52 cards that I'm sure everybody would be aware of. Now, if I throw all the cards at you and then I tell you, organize these cards, what will you do? How will you organize those cards? Will you put it in some categories? So, what will be those categories? Color numbering, perfect. Sending order, you'll be having diamond as one category, or you could be having number one as A as one category. So you'll be basically organizing them. That's exactly what we do in card sorting. We we ask the users, okay, what all features do you want? Let's say we ask them, what all features do you want in a banking app? And there are 50 people throwing 50 features. Now we are going to ask the users, these are 50 features available. Now put those features into these five categories, like uh, uh, you know, for example, account opening, or you could be first-time user. You create certain categories and then you start sorting them. So just like in a normal card deck, you sort it. In this also, you do the sorting to identify it. Yeah, correct. So sometimes it's manually done, like you actually make a creative card and then you make people arrange them. There are also certain apps available where you can sort those and particular you can put them in particular categories. Yes, option branching and all that will be a little higher level of card sorting, but yeah, some apps even allow that. But for a normal user who might not be very familiar with it, simple card sorting is pretty handy. Okay, next, personas. Are you aware of personas? Yes, I think most of you are familiar with personas. Okay, there are some no's also. So personas are like, you imagine there's one perfect user of your product. Who is this person? Let's say I imagine, Samuel is my user. So I'll write Samuel's name, I'll write his age, occupation, education, interest, non-interest, where does this person stay. I create something like a mini CV of the person. And now this is our ideal person who could be a potential user. So this is like one person representing the entire set of users I could have. That is persona. It's like one person, but this person assumed to be the ideal user. That's why we create persona. So they help us go deep dive into understanding user. Yes, like rightly said, Jane, archetype. It's like an archetype. Okay. Next is analytics and data mining. Now, this is what we have started more recently. Now that we have data available at hand from anywhere, a lot of data, so we can conduct analytics. Now, when you're creating an app or a product for the first time, you might not even have data for that. But still, there are some tools available that allow you to use the data which is already available in the industry and then do data mining. So through data mining, you can even collect the insights that you get through social media. Like what are people talking about a particular banking app on, let's say, Twitter or on Instagram or on Facebook. You can extract that data and from that you can draw insights. So maybe you're able to find out, okay, this is what people are looking for through this kind of research. Okay, persona again. So let's say if you want to create a mobile app and this is for banking and a typical user could be me. So instead of thinking about what could be a typical user, you just think about one person. So in your persona, you will write a name, you will write Puja Dubey, you will put my picture there. You will write, okay, I am postgraduate. You will write, I am from Pune city. You will write, I am a business person, or the profile is design and writing. You will write about what I like. I like to read a lot. I like to write a lot. Then you write what I don't like. So you are talking about me and only me. But I am not the only customer you will have. I'm representing all the customers you might have. Sometimes you create multiple personas. Yeah, so portfolio is like a set of products that you or the users or the customers you have, normally whatever work you have done. But yeah, how to filter your users? Okay, filter means you can have multiple personas. So let's say if I am one of the users of a banking app, I am in a 40 plus category. But suppose you are youngsters, now you could be coming in 20 to 30 age range. For you, the we might need to create a different persona. So you can filter users based on the age, or you could filter users based on their occupation. Like working professional will need different set of features from a banking app. They might be looking for a loan which is like a personal loan, car loan. But if you're talking about business, they might be looking for things like demat account, current account, or a business loan. So you can also filter them based on that. Okay, you explain that part again. So which part you're talking about, Rachel? Yeah, gender can also be one of the classifications. Okay, so actually there are so many messages, so I missed out that part that you mentioned. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll move on. If there is another question remaining, you can always ask during the question and answer session. Thank you, Jaya. Thank you very much. Okay, next is diary studies. Diary, I'm sure everybody knows, but what is a diary study? Have you ever heard of it? Hmm. Okay, most of you have not heard. Okay, Maria knows a bit about it. Okay, yeah. In UI design, the research method will be little advanced because there you're using an interface for research. You show them interfaces in the form of designs, and then you conduct the research. Here, you can ask them verbally questions also because it could even be before concept stage. Okay, now in diary studies, you just like in a diary, you write about your experiences, your life, whatever is happening. In your diary or notepad, users write their experience about the particular app. So let's say I asked you, okay, write about how do you find this app. So you make notes of that. And then I collect all the notes that all the users have made. That becomes a diary study file. So I'm ultimately using their notes, using their diaries, but those diaries have specific purpose. Yeah, so this is one way actually to do it. Not the actual diary, not the personal diary, or this is like a professional use diary. Okay. Eye tracking. Heard of this? Eye tracking? Yes. Yes, no, yes, no. So mixed response. Okay. So what happens in eye tracking? Like when, let's say you are on Amazon. And if you go to the homepage of Amazon, you'll find a lot of features. There's menu, there latest offers, then there are categories, then there is a search box. There's so many things on one single page. Now, which part of the page you first jump onto? If I have a specific product to buy, I will not waste time in going through menu and all that. I'll simply type that. So I will use search box first. Then I'll think of other things. So that is my most used section. What according to you is the most used section when you go to Amazon? Where do you click first? Most selling product. Okay. The middle. Okay. Search bar. Price. Okay. Highest selling rating. Perfect. Product panel. Perfect. So you see, different people look at different places when they are using an application. So an eye tracking is done using a software that is working in the background of your app, and it sees where does your eye go on the page. And on the basis of that, we create something like a heat map, and we understand, okay, this is the most useful area for the user, and then we can decide, okay, suppose this is very useful when you are making a mobile version of an app. So if you would have noticed on LinkedIn, you have a lot of features on the desktop app, but when you go to mobile app, some of these features are hidden. Now how does company know which features should I put, because I don't have such a freedom like I have on a web app on a mobile app, because it can become very heavy in that case, and it can irritate you. So I have to select a few features. So I do this eye tracking study. I understand which is the most, looked at feature by the users, and then I say, okay, I'll only keep these features that are most important for the user on my mobile. That's how eye tracking study can happen. Okay. So heat map in eye tracking is like one step. You do the tracking and you understand users. Heat map is like an outcome of that. Sometimes eye tracking is, done without heat map also. The simple thing. Heat map does the same thing. It actually helps you identify where most of the people are clicking. So it goes up beyond that. Not just eye tracking, but suppose you want to see where the users are clicking. If you see that most of the users are clicking in the search box, then you will keep the search box as prominent. If you go to many, on Amazon, let's say music app or Audible, you will see the central portion has a different thing on every app. Usually search box is in the middle, especially in Alexa. Search is very prominent because that's where most of the users would go. So heat map will tell you which is the most important area for the user. Now, heuristic evaluation. What we do in heuristic evaluation, anyone has the idea of what is heuristics? Okay. So heuristic evaluation is nothing but you're kind of evaluating the behavior, the interaction that users have. You try to understand what are the psychological factors or what are the practical things that are affecting your users. And it's more like a, a policy oriented study where you have specific things assigned. Okay, these are the things that can make users more interactive on an app. And this is very useful in UI kind of researches also. So if you see, there are some principles identified in UX, and we understand which principle is actually delivering the results. So heuristic evaluation can help you there. Okay, so any questions? I am done for the time, but before we can have the detailed question and answer session. I would like to
Yeah, Puja. Hi,
yes.
Puja. So thank you, Puja. Thank you so much for that insightful and interacting session. So your experience and expertise, no, truly illuminated the importance of user research in UI UX design. So before we close, I would like to address some of the questions which we have received in our chat box. Before that, we will have a session to share some information about Uni Athena. So Pooja, you can take rest for some time and we'll be back with our Q&A session. So, and I would like to inform you that all the attendees will receive a free participation certificate if they stay until the end of the session. So please make sure to stay with us. And I would like to invite Neha to share a bit about Uni Athena. So over to you, Neha.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
Neha.
So it was a very insightful session, Pooja. And it was I was in watching the chats of, and they were really enthusiastic, and some of us also said that this session was even more better than their bachelor courses. So thank you so much. I will take few minutes to introduce you some opportunities that Uni Athena is providing you. So at Uni Athena, we believe in flexible, affordable, and accessible learning. I will be telling you about some free short learning courses, and over 2 million global upskillers are already joined us, and we will be happy to let you know more about it. So first, let me share some courses that we provide, top courses that will align to this webinar itself. So we have basics of UI design, mastering user experience design, executive diploma in UI UX, essential of UX UI design process, few other courses like diploma in UX design, essential of UX design, mastering in UI UX trends and best practices, and basics of UI UX trends and best practices. These are the few courses that we top courses that we are offering that aligns with today's webinar. And if you are someone who is looking for IT career in IT and computing, then you would going to love this next presentations. So first, let me tell you what makes online courses uh, stand out for Uni Athena. First, we have more than 600 online courses, endless learning opportunities at your fingertip. Then we have more than 20 plus domain, whether it is in IT computing, whether it is in engineering, whether it is in UX UI design or finance or management. We explore a broad range of horizon. And next is our courses are completely free, only knowledge. We have different levels. We have 5 learning levels from beginners to advanced. We have covered all. After you complete these courses, you can earn the professional certificate, and these certificates are recognized by industries and will help you boost your job opportunities or any promotions. And next we have bite-sized learning. So as you go process through these courses, you learn small bits and you can go through it. Next, how do we support each stage of your career? So first we have basic courses. It is from 4 to 6 hours. What is about this is best for fundamental concept and any domain that you want to cover it minimal time. So it is perfect for any newcomers or anyone who want to brush up their basics. These courses are very good for them. We have partner body CI qualifications university. Next, we have our essential, which last for around 6 to 9 hours. What is about it? So, if you want to dwell deeper into essential concept, principles, and theories to build your foundation, these courses are the best. So, who should go for it? This is suited though for those who want to master, those who have mastered and want to understand the concept in little bit of deep. And our partner body is CI University and Asia University. Next, we have our mastering, which lasts for a week and especially developed for top level expertise and practical skills for industry expert. These are usually aimed for individuals who want to lead and have in a professional field. And our partners body is Asia University. Next, we have our diploma courses that last for 1 to 2 weeks, and it is specialized for certification skills and mostly practical skills in different domains. And it will help you to evaluate your skills in specific employable uh, skills. And Uni Athena provide the certification for these courses. Next but not least, we have our executive diploma courses that last for 2 to 3 weeks, and it gives you a in-depth program detail in for executives or who want to gain leadership or practical skills. This is basically designed for the professionals who want to carry out their career and also want to upskill their uh, skills simultaneously. Uni Athena provides certification for these courses. Next, our certification partner is a Cambridge qualification from Cambridge University, UK. We also provide Asia University qualification from US. Athena Global Education is also a member institution Federation for Education in Europe. So if you are applying for these courses, the certification that you will be getting will be applied Europe and beyond, which will be really helpful for your career boost. Next, this is what learners has to say. We have a learner Abhishek Haridarshan, and this is what he says that he has been using and learning from our short courses for 3 months, and it helped him to uplift his career. Next, we have another learner. He also suggested that he used our executive diploma programs, and he will be coming for more. There is one more live learner who joined us. I am not sure if his network is okay or not, but is Mr. Ishro David. Mr. David is, if you are here, you can unmute yourself. He is one of our learner who has completed bachelor's degree in procurement and logistic management. He suggested that he would be like to share some of his experience, but if he's here, you can unmute yourself and speak about your experience, please, Mr. David. So I believe there has been some network issues. So this is all from my side about Uni Athena. Lynn will take and Miss Puja will take up your the Q&A questions from now. I hope you enjoy.
Yeah. Thank you, Neha. Thank you so much for sharing the information. So I think David couldn't join due to some issues, network issues. It's okay. So Pooja, are you ready for our Q&A session? We got so many
Yes.
interesting questions in our chat box. Okay. So the first question is Pooja, how can I use AI for the UX research?
Yeah. AI, there are tools available that allow you to actually, like, for example, if we talk about heat map, or we talk about surveys, or we talk about things like sentimental analysis. So there are AI tools that are going to capture. You can ask AI, okay, what are people talking about? Let's say a Dell laptop. So it will capture all the data and it will give you insights. You can ask it to give it in a particular format. You can also ask it to analyze the data that you have received. So a lot of tools are available, even for designing work. So I know there is a tool called USR where you can actually capture the designs that are already available, and then you can turn those designs into just by giving the prompts. And even on apps like Figma, now AI is being used everywhere. Now AI is like everywhere. So yeah, it's definitely useful in user research.
Thank you, Pooja. So the next question is, what would you say to someone who is discouraged to go into UI UX because they think the UI UX design space is too saturated? It's very personal question, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say it's a huge field. If you think it is saturated, it might be one area, but it's a huge field. I mean, as a UI person, you could be a UI person, you could be a UX designer, you could be a user researcher, you could also be a UX writer. So you never know. There are 15 plus different professions attached with UI UX field, and it's not saturated.
So the next question is difference between UI UX and web development. Somebody
Okay.
wants to know this difference. Yeah.
Okay. So now UX is like you design experiences. You're doing most of the work on paper. Even if you are creating interfaces, you are just creating the design of it. User interfaces, when actually you're designing a button, let's say if I use a tool like Figma and design a button, that's the UX design part. But then when I click the button and actually something starts to happen, that's when UI starts. And regarding web, it's more of a, I mean, you can use UI UX for web development. So first you create wireframes, that is UX part. And then you create an actual page, landing page, let's say on a website. That's UI. So UI UX is a part of web development process.
Thank you, Pooja. And the next question is a very interesting question. What advice would you give to beginners who are just starting to incorporate user research into their design workflow?
Wonderful thing. I would like to say that hats off to you that you have already started doing it. I have seen even teams, experienced teams, they're sometimes they're skipping user research. They just do what the client asks them to do and whatever they say. That's why we see those crappy websites like IRCP and some old ones. So it's a good thing that you're doing because user research can really make your products useful and talk about it. Like on LinkedIn, you can talk about it that what insights have you got through your user research? And it will let others also know that you are doing some sound work.
So the next question is, can we use Google Analytics to conduct user research?
Google Analytics does help you gather some data, mostly like a quantitative insight. Yes, a part of it is definitely possible. But when you're trying to understand some specific things, then in that case, you need to reach out and use some different methods. The analytics is definitely one of the methods. And now with AI, even Google has its own AI, so a lot of advances are possible. Microsoft has a tool called Clarity. It's actually free to use, even you can try for creating heat maps. So all you have to do is get the code from Clarity and put it on the web page wherever you want to test, and then it will generate a heat map, a beautiful heat map for you, and it's completely free. So you can try that out.
And the last question is, what are some of the latest trends or innovations in user research for UI UX?
Yeah. So one is AI. Now a lot of user research steps are now automated because of AI. That is one of the trends. Second is they are trying to understand the psychology of users, the design aspects of it. So it's no more just about asking them, okay, what kind of features do you want? But they do actually do the sentimental analysis, and they show the designs to users, and they are able to interact with the users in the go. And some time back we also discussed about continuous process. So that is also, there are certain apps that allow you to continuously keep researching. So once you have created the app, there are already, data collection steps. So let's say you are on a new app, and first time you log into the app, a, a survey question will pop up. Okay, how was your experience of logging in? Was it easy, difficult? So these embedded questions, embedded user research in your app is also one of the very popular trend nowadays.
Okay. So thank you, Puja. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So as we wrap up, I want to thank Puja once again for sharing her valuable insights with us. And thank you all. Thank you all for your engaging questions and for being a part of today's webinar. We hope you found the session valuable and inspiring. So have a great day ahead. Thank you. Bye. Take care.
Thank you very much. You have been a wonderful audience and a lot of questions, and I got a lot of active participation. Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you. And anybody wants to get more information, they can always go to Uni Athena website for more information about UI and UX programs and courses. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Puja. Thank you, Lynn.